Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Pre-Order Bonus Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Cameron Warren, and I'm joined, as always, by the Pixel Professor, Jacob Price. It's February 19th, 2026. We're back to talk about video games, and just like that, ladies and gentlemen, Blue Point has been shut down. They are not working on a Bloodborne remake like we all knew and thought they were. Although there are some rumblings on the internets that maybe they were actually beginning to like piece together work on a Bloodborne remake. What a shame, man. What a shame.
It's a huge shame. I don't know. This to me just like I think we kind of just see what happened here. The proof is in the pudding, right? Originally Bluepoint is on contract from Sony to make remakes. They made the excellent Shadow of the Colossus remake,
Mm-hmm.
and then they made the excellent Demon's Souls remake, and then they were purchased by Sony, and then the assumption was that they were going to be making some like third-person action RPG, that they might be able to work on some original IP instead of doing remakes. And then it was revealed that they were like one of the studios working on a God of War live service game. That game got shuttered, and then now the studio's gone. And it kind of just feels like it was preventable. Of course, that's really, I guess, a little obtuse, or what I'm trying to say. I don't know squat about what's happening on the inner workings with Sony and Bluepoint, right? But it from an outsider's perspective, it seemed like have them do another remake of one of your beloved third-person action RPGs, because it seems like they're really good at that. And so I think there's just a lot of head scratching around this, and there's a lot of annoyance because their last two offerings were so good.
I mean, I work at Sony and I have no idea what happened here. But were they working on was that the rumor that they were working on a God of War live service game for like 5 years? Was that the rumor?
It was confirmed a few years ago. Oh man, let's see. It was confirmed. Let's see, that they were a support studio for God of War Ragnarok, and then from there they were making. I don't know if they were the lead on it, but they were making some sort of God of War spin-off. And
dude,
I don't know.
We had a model that worked, and we're going to talk about this in our special topic that we're going to do right after this. So if you want to join the Patreon, you can hear that. If you're already part of the Patreon, you can hear that. But we're going to talk about video game models that work. And they had a model that worked, and it was make a bunch of cool first-party games. And they still do this. And I have to be a little careful because I work for Sony. So I can't be too critical, I guess.
Right.
Although if anybody at Sony who has the power to make me edit the show is probably not listening. So I'll probably be fine. But maybe we'll edit this later. Anyway.
They listen to Kind of Funny. We're small fries.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, dude. I mean, they had a model that worked, right? Like, just make cool remakes and first-party games and sell consoles with them. And then I say we because I work there now, but I guess we decided, or not me, but before I joined, they decided right. to go on this like live service, and they're still sticking to their guns, man. Like, they have not shifted. What I can say, this is like completely hearsay rumor from my own perspective, so this is not reflected from anybody that I've spoken with at Sony, but there is a sense of that this whole live service thing is a side quest that we should have never went on, or that the company should have never went on, from people like amongst like the higher ups in the company. Again, all rumor, all speculation. I haven't talked to anyone. I don't know anyone. So just to be very, very clear. So don't go quote this in a random indie game news article. But yeah, there's a sense that like this whole live service thing is like a side quest, and it's like we should have just stuck to what we do well and not bothered with this crap.
It's wild, right? Because like you cannot always play it safe in an industry, especially in an industry that's so heavily involved in the arts, right?
Mm-hmm.
You cannot always play it safe because that status quo will shift because popular opinion shifts and notions towards what is artistic and what is poignant and what makes sense for the time period. All that stuff shifts, and this is why I think anytime you're in an industry or an economy that's dealing with the arts and ascribes them cultural and monetary value, you're always at a risk. And this is why, like in the music industry, that people typically don't invest in music
Mm-hmm.
because it is such a crapshoot. Now, if you hit the lottery, you hit the lottery, right? Like whoever bet big on, I want to like remember Lorde, her song Royals?
Mm-hmm.
Like, dude, if you bet big on Lorde's debut album, like you made it, right? But not everybody can make that bet, and it's just crazy risky. And so you have to take risks. You have to try things out. I think what's surprising to me personally is that it was just like, okay, we're gonna go all in for a season on live service. And we're talking a lot about Sony right now. Xbox is doing this right with Game Pass. They're kind of going all in on this Game Pass thing, and it just feels super risky, right?
Yeah.
And to go all in, it's like, no, you need to put your eggs in different baskets. And when I think the one company that always seems to be able to weather the storms out of the big three is Nintendo, because they do take big creative swings, but they also play things pretty safe. And what I mean by that is they will let a Mario game incubate for a long time or a Zelda game, like their big marquee games. They let that stuff sit and they know how to play their cards. And sometimes they take swings and misses. Like, what on earth it was that one game that was using the mouse functionality? It was the wheelchair basketball game.
Oh,
Like,
yeah. That just died, right?
exactly. Nobody knows squat about that game, and I'm assuming that game did not move units, right?
No.
But it's not like Nintendo's in a drastic upheaval because of what they released there. And that game was like, from a creative standpoint, was like, wow,
Yeah.
this is a super creative way to use like the mouse functionality of the new Joy-Cons. No one cared about the game, but Nintendo still greenlit the project, and they're not over there suffering because it didn't, spin out $9 billion in 2 days or whatever.
Yeah, I think this leads well into this thread that's going around from the State of Video Game in 2026 report. This line, I think, kind of sums it up. Almost all video game growth went to three parties: Chinese publishers, platform holders like Apple, Google, and Sony, and Roblox. Everyone else
Dude,
is fighting over a market that barely moved. Roblox had 150 million daily users in Q3 2025. Its quarterly engagement is now equal to Steam, PlayStation, and Fortnite combined.
wow.
It monetizes at 5 cents per hour. PlayStation monetizes at 44 cents.
Can you explain that last stat for me? I'm not sure I quite understand what that means.
I think that's some like everybody on their platform spends 5 cents per hour of play. I don't know the exact definition, but that's my guess.
Okay, that's interesting though.
Like for per
It's
hour of
interesting.
play, everybody who engages spends 5 cents per hour.
Gotcha, but their engagement base is massive. So
Yeah,
five
yeah,
cents
yeah,
per hour per player is actually a ton of money. Got it.
yeah. Roblox is the giant in the room that nobody talks about ever. And my kids are not allowed to play. So
Same. If you guys are, for listeners who've listened to us for a long time, you know that. For folks who are newer to the Pre-Order Bonus podcast, Cameron and I are both parents, and man, Roblox just gives us the heebie-jeebies. And
yeah,
so
nope,
we stay away from that.
nope.
That's our strong opinion on Roblox.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, I think that sums it up right there. Is like all these companies want a piece of that pie,
Right.
and they ain't getting it. And so they're trying to figure out the ways to get it. And so we just can't have nice things because of that, because we can't just have like a nice business model that makes a lot of money.
Right.
We've said this ad nauseum, but it's the same argument we always put. It's like endless growth makes things worse for everybody.
Yeah.
So it's really good for a while, but then you reach a point where it's like, okay, like I think we're good.
Right.
Like we're all good, right? Like, but no, we're never good. We're never good.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a shame because Blue Point has this amazing track record, and they were well regarded. They had great reputation,
Yep.
and it just seems like from an outsider's perspective, it's kind of like, dude, what happened? And I think what I'm seeing in the circles that I am probably more just a part of, it's like, why did you not give them a Bloodborne remake? I think, I think I'm seeing people like 5 years ago. They should have been working on the Bloodborne remake because I think it was in 2020 that Demon Souls came out, if I'm not mistaken. And so, of course, people in the From Software fan communities are like, "Cool, that means we could have had a Bloodborne remake 1,000 times over since then. You should have just done that."
Yeah. I mean, they took a bet that, and who knows what the actual inner workings are. Was it the studio heads at Blue Point that said, "Hey, please give us this new project. We want to make this God of War live service game, please." And they said,
Yeah,
"Please, let's do it."
yeah,
And Herman Holst and team went like, "Yeah, great. Um, yeah, do it. Like this is awesome. I think this aligns great with our strategy." And then 5 years later, they probably went back and said like, "Hey, we need 3 more years to make this game good."
right.
That's probably what happened. I have no idea what happened, but that's probably what happened. Herman Hulse
Hmm.
is my boss's boss, so
So you see him like every day, right?
I'll never
Right.
speak to him. Yeah. Um,
I mean, you're right. Like, if we think about like what happened there, it easily could have been Blue Point asking, like, "Hey, this project looks good," and maybe they were asking for that project. I think about this quite a lot, and so it's kind of my go-to answer for scenarios like this, for good and bad. When companies want to try something new, it's like, "Hey, we could train a whole bunch of personnel on making this type of game and being familiar with this game engine in this way. Give us this project so we can do that."
yeah.
You know, and I just feel like whenever I see a game studio that has a pretty diverse portfolio, that oftentimes, and of course, again, this is my assumption, that one of the ideas is like, dude, let's build up the talent here. Let's build up the talent. Let's crank out this game. Let's make this. Let's see how it goes, you know? And if it's a flop, it's like, okay, we tried, we learned some things. We're probably not going to do that again. Or if it's a success, like Cameron and I's go to golden poster child for this, Grounded and Grounded 2 from Obsidian, it's like, dude, fantastic. You've created a smash hit. You've created an excellent game, and it was 100% worth the investment.
Yep. 100%. Yeah, super sad, man. You know, so let me throw this theory at you. Do you think that there is a predominance of people in video game studio leadership that, because of their love for MMOs from the early 2000s, really want to make a live service game? I'm throwing out this
That's a
wild
yeah.
theory, but I'm like, do you think of that as
I mean, it's pretty specific, well, right? But
yeah, 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 yeah.
do I see that as like a possible scenario? Absolutely. And it's kind of like, how do I reinvent the live service game that makes sense right now? Which I think is a question that people have probably been asking since WoW, and they've definitely been asking since Fortnite. It's like, hey, this is a live service model. It's super cool. It makes a lot of people happy, players, shareholders, the studio, whatever, because they have a
Yeah.
success hit.
Yeah.
So no, I totally get that, and I think it is kind of what's the phrase I'm looking at here? It's not chasing a ghost, but it's like chasing something that's not quite obtainable. Because again, going back to my earlier point, as much as video games are a business, and they are a business, right? And I think if you don't realize that, like Blue Point getting shut down is a calling your attention to that. I mean, it's this delicate balance between business and art, right? And if you're trying to
Yeah.
chase a trend that got really popular several years ago, like I think the likelihood of you really sticking the landing just
Yeah.
decreases. And that's one of the biggest problems, right, with the video game industry is like, hey, I have this idea. It's going to take me 5 years to make. In 5 years, will people still care about this idea?
Well, because so I think a lot of gamers look at this and go, "Oh, those nasty executives and management teams like went in and made Bluepoint go make a God of War live service game." I don't think that's what happened.
Mhm.
I just don't think that that's how it works. Like these teams kind of pick what they want to make. Like the Herman Hulst doesn't go in and have a meeting and say, "Hey guys, I just just got done playing I don't know, Apex, like where's our version of this combined with our top IP, God of War, you know what I mean? Like I I don't know. I don't know. I could be wrong. I'm not close enough to the high up to know.
Right.
But
I think that scenario you just described, that hypothetical, that's one that floats around on social media. And I think it does originate in real cases where a director from a studio will be like, hey guys, this weekend I played GTA 5. We need to include these
yeah, like
features.
within the studio. Not it's
Yeah.
not like PlayStation Central management teams going in and like management consulting their way to like here's the game you guys are going to make. Like I don't think that that's what happens. It's to your point. It's like studio heads wanting to chase a trend that they think is cool, which or I think is going to make the studio a lot of money, which why wouldn't they, right? Like if you're the
Yeah.
head of a studio, you stand to make a ton of money if the game is successful. Um but that goes back to what I was saying a couple episodes ago or last episode and I posted in the Discord about how like just the model that we have for choosing what video games to make, how to make them, how to scope them, and how to budget them is broken. So I think this just lends even more credence to that.
And that's why indie games support your indies. Um, what I think is interesting about indies is so I recently picked up Drop Shot, Aerial Knight's Drop Shot. This came
Oh,
out
nice.
earlier
It's
this
on
week,
Game
right?
Pass, right? Yeah.
It's on Game Pass. This is a game that has a lot of flair. This is from a developer who I really like, who goes by Aerial Knight, and he's created two games previous to this, Never Yield and We Never Yield, and they're kind of like side-scrolling like runners where you have to like jump, dip, dodge, duck, and dip your way through different levels. And it's interesting because those games are really great. I played a bunch of levels of Drop Shot this week, and I thought to myself, this is a guy who I think understands like how strange scaffold that studio works
Mm-hmm.
and is able to have a much quicker turnaround on an idea and iterate on ideas quicker. And the Drop Shot is a super fun game. It's got this really cool premise. It definitely has like the indie feel to it because this is obviously like, not a AAA studio making this game. But what I think is fascinating about something like Drop Shot is like that turnaround is quick, man. You see an idea that's happening right now in the indie space and you like it and you can turn something around in 12 to 18 months. If you're really just selling an idea. And this is what I think is like what we see with like the wake of viral indie hits, Vampire Survivors, Balatro, even last year a game about digging a hole, which is like this $4 game that takes you 3 hours to beat,
Yeah.
and it's like super simple mechanically. Like other indie developers would be like, "Ooh, that's a cool idea, but I think I'd do that with this in mind." And then they go and do that, and they don't always have like smash hits. Don't get me wrong, and they're dealing with a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of the piece of the pie that you referred to earlier. But I just think it's interesting that turnaround is just so much faster, and so I think that just helps you take risks with that turnaround. Like if
Yeah.
I can get my game out in 18 months, in 24 months, even, that idea is still much fresher than a game that's going to take you 5 to 7 years to crank out.
And just for some to end on a positive note on this news, uh, I realized that the obsession with AI there's a lot of problems there and stupid crap and slop, right?
Hmm.
That being said, I do think there are ongoing efforts legitimate ongoing efforts to like really try and help teams like within big companies,
Hmm.
AAA studios, take more bets and like decrease the cost associated with the ability to take more bets through
Yeah.
just making the workflow faster and making experiments faster.
Hmm.
Not Yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and say like they're not trying to do like generative stuff with video games. They are, but it all sucks and it's not working for obvious reasons.
Hmm.
But it's like more about like the productivity side and like the workflow side and like get things done faster side. So,
Yeah.
um, and hopefully all that leads to the ability to take more risks and do stuff faster and make games cheaper to make. So yeah, I mean, you can get your, so anyway, I don't know. Maybe that's a positive thing that could come out of it, or maybe we're just going to head to the apocalypse. So it's one or the other.
Yeah. There are two roads ahead of us.
Either apocalypse or we get more video games. There's only two choices. Yeah.
Good luck.
Or we run out of water. Anyway, on that note, speaking of running out of water, we wanted to take this episode to do a little bit of a hype session, get hyped, kind of shoot the breeze about Resident Evil Requiem.
Yeah.
Jake and I got into Resident Evil. We are new Resident Evil fans.
Yes.
We are new.
Us, please.
Please welcome us to the fandom. We are here. We are interested to be here. We're excited to be here. Resident Evil is awesome, dude. I'm super pumped for Requiem. This is the big first kind of big AAA game of the year. I got hooked on Resident Evil back probably a year after the Resident Evil 2 remake came out. And I had heard really good things about it. I had got like great reviews and I was super bored. And so I went on the Xbox store and I bought it. It was like $20.
Yeah.
And I played it and I was like, dang, this is a really good video game.
Yeah.
And then from there, I ended up playing Village, and I still haven't played Biohazard because that looks too scary.
That's beyond me.
Yeah. But I played Resident Evil 2 and I played Village, and then obviously 4 Remake, which is fantastic, like incredible remake. And I'm just like, dude, I freaking love this franchise. Like, it's amazing. So it's so fun to like be part of the fandom now that we're getting a new one. And so this Resident Evil Requiem, I think this will be the first like new release Resident Evil that we'll play at the same time.
Yeah. So I think I had a similar path to the introduction to Resident Evil. And listen, Cameron and I, we definitely skew towards remakes and remasters are a good thing. And I think in this case, like this is again some proof of that, where like and this is the case for me. I saw a lot of people being really excited about the Resident Evil 2 remake, but specifically the Resident Evil 4 remake. Like I saw a lot of people being super excited for that. And then I actually started watching some people who on Twitch who do like challenge runs for Souls games. They also do challenge runs in Resident Evil games. And so I like just watched people do playthroughs of Village, and I was like, okay, maybe I do get like maybe this does look pretty cool. And so same thing. I picked up Resident Evil 2 like on sale Xbox store. It was probably like 10 or 15. Like that game gets cheap all the time now.
Yeah.
I picked it up, looked it on how long to beat. It's like, I don't know, a 7-hour campaign. I was like, yes.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely willing to spend $15 on a 7-hour campaign and see where it goes. Ended up loving it, man. Like just like you, like I think that remake plays incredibly well. I think as far as horror games go, I think Resident Evil 2 remake for me was like it is pretty nasty. Like those are nasty zombies.
Yeah.
You load them full of bullets and they get really gross, dude. And it has its jump scares, but like, dude, it balances that with the campy and with like the crazy, totally off the rails sci-fi. And it's like, I think Resident Evil as a franchise just like nails that mixture incredibly well. And then after that, I played Resident Evil 4 remake, and I was like, oh, I get it. I get why people like this because it actually is the perfect balance of all of those things. And then I played Village. Village for me was like, dude, that freaking dollhouse. Like it's a little more messed up, I think, than 4 and 2,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then I didn't get to finish it because I just ran out of time before this episode. I'm halfway through Resident Evil 3, and I was like, dude, if Resident Evil 9, if Resident Evil Requiem was like more of this, I was like, dude, I'm sold. Like this
100%.
stuff works, dude. It works super well.
Dude, your comment on like combining the true scariness with the zaniness and just blending it in this like incredible smoothie is just like no other game can do that. Like no other game. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Um
And they're consistent about it. That's the thing that gets me.
yeah.
Is like even in Village, which I would say is definitely creepier and a little more serious than it is campy. Dude, Ethan loses his hand like how many freaking times, and he pours like a bottle of vinegar on it, and he's like, "Good as new," you know. Like,
Well,
sure,
spoilers on that. Skip ahead if you don't want to be spoiled in Resident Evil Village, but it's because he's dead the whole time, right?
yeah,
Or something like
happened
that.
maybe in
Because he's got
7.
the ooze and he got infected with it that just made him like undead.
Yeah, he's like not exactly alive.
Yeah.
Maybe
Anyway,
is the proper whatever.
but see, that's the fun like zaniness of it. And then when you find like the little, things you can read in the world that give you like the backstory to the and how it's all
Yeah.
like interconnected. It's so good. It's just good. Jake, I put together 10 reasons to be hyped for Resident Evil Requiem. Okay.
I love this. Yeah.
And one of them I already mentioned. This is the first Resident Evil we're both going to be playing at launch. So we're going to be there for the launch party. We missed out on all of them. But we're here for this one. The next one on my list is Leon spin kicking zombies in the face.
Is it maybe a perfect combat thing? Just like super over the top, he roundhouse kicks everybody, and it's just like we go with it.
Roundhouse kicks. Like, let me ask you this question: is a roundhouse kick like a practical combat move? Like, does it really? Like, are they doing a lot of roundhouse kicks like in MMA? You know?
No, I don't think so. But Chuck Norris does, and was it Walker, Texas Ranger? So I don't know, dude.
MMA. I'm just a quick Google search. I just see the roundhouse body kick. Okay, so maybe it is practical. So yeah, all right, it's grounded in reality. Perfect.
Zombies are slow moving, so you got time for the wind up, maybe.
Yeah, so dude, the roundhouse, so they don't have this in Resident Evil 2 remake, right? There's no roundhouse kick. There's just the guns.
Yeah, because he's just Leon Kennedy is the first. It's his first day on the job.
That's
he like
right.
shows up to Raccoon City, and it like all hell is broken loose. He's like, I gotta get to work.
That's right. That's right. So, but then in Resident Evil 4 remake, they add the roundhouse kick, and then you also have like the counter block, but it's like with the shiv. And I don't think I ever blocked a single attack with that, like the entire game, and I would just like lose my shiv. And for some reason, it's a consumable. Just a weird design decision on that one, but it didn't matter because I basically never used it. I just like take shotguns to people's faces the whole time. So
I used it all the time, actually.
you're probably, I mean, you're better at these types probably at the parrying than I am. But yeah, anyway, I just thought that was weird. But yeah, roundhouse kicks to the face. Leon's back.
Yeah. Leon, I think, is an awesome character because he is kind of like, I don't know, dude. He's just full of these one-liners, and he's just like so committed to his job, but he's also like kind of just a little bit of a himbo, right? Like he's constantly getting duped by Ada Wong. And
That's
so,
right. Yeah. He's not like the smartest tool in the shed, but he's cool and he's
but
determined.
he's cool, and yeah,
Yeah.
he's determined, and that carries a lot of weight there. And so I'm excited to see him. It's also funny because he's like much older. Did they release like how old
Does
he's
he
supposed
have? Yeah. Does he have a beard?
he's like, unshaven, whiskers.
Let's look at the. Let's look at the
Dude, how
images here of the new Leon. Oh yeah. Here he is. The rugged. Yeah, he's looking rugged. He's
he's
looking
looking
real.
rugged.
Yeah,
We're probably
he's what? He's got to be what? 58, 55 here, but like a young Brad Pitt 55 type of thing. Brad Pitt's like 60 years old now, which is insane.
yeah, and he looks like he's 45.
He's like a
right?
mummy. Yeah.
How
Oh,
old is Leon S. Kennedy? I hold on. Uh, so he's 51. There you go.
oh, that's not that bad. 51's that's not that old.
No.
All right, he's still pretty jacked. Okay. Anyway, so that was one. The next one was just, and we already talked about this, but Resident Evil 4 Remake is just a top tier video game. I mean, it's just like so good. Like I think it easily. What won Game of the Year when that came out?
It got a bunch of nominations, and I remember there was a lot of buzz. People were like, "Should remakes like be able to get a ton of nominations or not?"
Resident Evil 4 Remake. Yeah, I mean, 10 out of 10. Overwhelmingly positive, like 90 something Metacritic. Let's see, 2023. What was the game of the year?
Was it Alan Wake too? Did
Oh,
I lose to
how do I not know this? Of course it didn't win because Baldur's Gate 3 won. So,
Cameron. Sorry, I'm surprised, man.
Dang, man, that's I'm ashamed of myself. Gosh, I mean it's my game. It's my game of the year every year, basically. So
true. So yeah, it was nominated for Game of the Year, and it probably won at a bunch of awards as well too.
Dude,
right?
that's an insane. Dude, 2023 is actually a pretty nutty year. Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, and Resident Evil 4 Remake, Armored Core.
Ooh, Armored Core 6 was pretty rad.
Dude, that's crazy. Wait, when did Tears of the Kingdom come out?
2023.
Oh, it beat out Tears of the Kingdom. That's right. PG-3. Dude, 2023 is, maybe that's a banner year.
Maybe that one is a banner year.
Maybe that's a banner year. Super Mario Bros. Wonder, too. Dang.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, Resident Evil 4 Remake is incredible. If you haven't played that, like, that's one of the best remake. That's like right up there with Final Fantasy VII Remake, like in terms of how well it was done and how modern they made it, and like,
yeah.
And so if they're doing that again, but it's a brand new game, it's like you can't lose. No way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Let's see. The next one I had is Capcom is just killing it lately. Like Capcom can't miss. So. We'll talk about this, I think, in our special topic. But let's look at Capcom's last like 6 games.
They're doing awesome. I mean, it's one of these massive, third-party studios, and they just seem to be doing it right. They've got goodwill, good reputation, good games. Their games are selling really well, and I think they juggle a lot of different IP, but they do it well, right? I think one of their last biggest games was what they do Monster Hunter, right? That's
Monster
Capcom.
Hunter, yep.
Yeah.
Then what's the adventure game that came out that everybody liked? We had a lot of fun with it. Action adventure RPG. My gosh.
Drawing a blank.
Sorry. So obviously we had Monster Hunter. Hold on, I'm pulling up the list.
He's pulling up the list.
I meant to do this earlier, but I have a full-time job. Can't be a full-time podcaster. Sorry, guys.
It's tough.
Sorry. Apologies to all the podcaster bros out there who are just wiping the floor with my preparation. Let's see here. We got calculating. Dude, what's up with Mega Man? Oh, well, that's
They
coming
got
up.
that. Yeah,
They
they
did that.
announced that new thing.
Yeah, they announced that new thing, and it was totally like a big letdown because it's just another 2.5D like
Hey,
Mega Man
but
game.
we heard from folks in our Discord that they Mega Man fans are pretty excited, and so it's like, okay, this might be a case where it's just like it's just not actually for anybody except for Mega Man fans.
Gotcha.
Not like specific, I don't know, but it might be just for them.
So Monster Hunter Wilds, Dragon's Dogma. They also do Ace Attorney. They had that Kunitsugami game, Path of the Goddess, which like was good. Marvel
Oh
vs.
yeah,
Capcom, like arcade collection they've come out with. Monster Hunter Wilds obviously was huge. Um, yeah, so they made between Ace Attorney, Dragon's Dogma, and the Monster Hunter like series, and they're releasing Monster Hunter Stories 3 this year, which actually looks
yeah.
incredible. Jake, this is like a monster catching game. This is like right up your alley.
Honestly, what was it? I got some targeted ad for it, which and it worked. I
It
mean, they got
worked.
my number. I actually sat through the whole video.
They got you, dude.
I was like, dude, this actually looks kind of good. So I don't know. I'm always a little wary just because I don't know how long a game like that is actually going to
Yeah,
be,
that's true.
even if I can sink time
Yeah.
into it. But looking at it, I was like, this might be like because it's not exactly a spin-off. I don't really know how the Monster Hunter franchise works. I'll be totally honest. But yeah, it looks good.
I'm actually more interested in Monster Hunter Stories 3 than I was in Monster Hunter Wilds, I'll be honest.
I mean, Wilds looked like a really good time. I really like Monster Hunter World, but dude, those are grind fests.
Grindfest. Yeah.
So you have to be very prepared for that.
Yep. So anyway, Capcom killing it. So leads me to believe they'll kill it again. My next one was they've shown us a lot of the game Resident Evil Requiem without showing us much. So they've shown off like a lot of kind of the same parts that all look incredible, but I feel like some of the best parts of these games is the twist and turns. And so there's going to be some wild twist and turns in there and some craziness in the story, and I'm excited for that, dude. I love a good twist in my video game story, man. And so I couldn't be more excited. I need some more story. I need better stories in the games that I'm playing lately. I feel like I'm just starving for good narratives lately in the games I'm
Yeah.
playing. Jake, what's the last great narrative game you played?
Oh shoot. Did you play And Roger? Did I talk to you about And Roger?
No, I think I heard about it, but
It's brilliant, but it will rip your heart out, crush it, throw it on the ground, stomp on it, and then just watch you
oh
die.
jeez. Okay. Well,
It is that kind of a story.
maybe I
Sorry,
don't.
that one. That's maybe that's one. I don't know. It's a hard recommend. Sorry, I'm thinking of like really artsy narrative games like 1,000 X
Well,
Resist, for
I just
example. But
yeah, 1,000 Extras. That's actually on my list. I still haven't played that, but I mean, I guess I should reframe that. Like, I'm thinking of more something like a Plague Tale, where you still have the gameplay elements that are like pretty strong, but you've got that narrative hook there as well. For
yeah,
me, it's been too much of like either or lately, where it's like very mechanics driven, like mechanics heavy. I guess the one from last year was gosh, what's the giant game from last year? The French game. My mind doesn't
oh,
work
Claire
past
Obscure.
Claire Obscure, which like didn't work for me. I don't, because I'm weird, but it just didn't work for me. But that should have been my game of the year, like no question. But Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, that was I'm still riding that high. So hopefully Resident Evil Requiem
Yeah,
can pick that one up.
yeah. I think Requiem is probably going to give us like a good, just story that Resident Evil tends to churn out. You mentioned it earlier, like in the remake games. I've loved reading through the notes at the tables.
Yep.
They're really fun. I feel like those game writers at Capcom just have so much fun writing
They have
those.
yes, yeah.
It's like, yeah, give us a 3-page note here that's going to take somebody less than 40 seconds to read, make it over the top, but also give them a hint to some sort of lock combination that they'll need later. And I feel like that's like the direction that probably a lot of creatives are like, yes, because you want some limitations. You want to have to like puzzle and work like how are you going to get all this information in, and then you work really hard to make it feel organic. And I just feel like you see that so well in those things. And Control is another game that came to mind, where it's like when you go through and actually read the documents, you can tell that the writers were given a challenge that they were just over the moon to try to complete.
And let's be clear, like I'm not saying Resident Evil games have these like Academy Award winning heartfelt narratives or whatever, but
yeah,
they're just fun. They just have a lot of fun and they have some meat on the bone, and you feel like compelled to like go to the next thing and kind of and see what happens, right? You want to see what happens. It's like a popcorn flick, right? It's like a good popcorn flick. It's like a Jason Statham movie.
Yeah.
With
Perfect.
Zombies. The next one on my list was dual protagonists. Excited to kind of play with Leon and with the girl. I don't know exactly. I'm not a Resident Evil sicko, so I don't even know who the girl is. I probably need to do some research on that, but
we are new fans, so
yeah, I think she's somebody. Like she's somebody that we're supposed to know. So it seems like they're doing. So it's also kind of cool about Requiem, right? Is they're doing this like more survival horror aspect with the girl, where you're kind of running from stuff and hiding and like trying to just not die. And then Leon's more of like the action game. And so it'll be cool to have this like juxtaposition. That's like what they've showed off in the marketing. So
yeah, it's actually kind of like that in Resident Evil 3, where you play as Jill and then you play as Carlos.
Oh, nice.
And so that's something I think it's been great prep for kind of what I'm expecting from Requiem, where Jill, yeah, it's a little more survival horror. It's hilarious because she like refuses to run. The fastest she goes is like a trot. And I'm just like screaming at my TV. I'm like, run, Jill. Like, we don't have time. But then when you play as Carlos, you have an assault rifle. And there's, I'm playing on standard. And yeah. And, I find like it's crazy easy to get grenades and like a bunch of assault rifle ammo. And so it's just like, yeah, I'm kind of just mowing down, zombies in hallways. Whereas with Jill, I'm more like, okay, where are they going to pop out from? I really got to be steady with my pistol shots. Got to land those, And I think it works wonders for pacing, right? Because it doesn't just turn into the snooze fest of you just mowing down people left and right, but it also doesn't turn into just like this anxiety-driven resource management either.
Yeah, they do a really good job. That's another thing that these Resident Evil games do a really good job of balancing, like resource collection and management and like puzzle difficulty. They like give you just enough to make you feel smart, but never like push you over the edge where you want to just like turn the game off because like you feel like you can't make progress. It's this crazy balance that they strike.
Yeah. And actually on that, I'm kind of surprised that Resident Evil 4 was able to be as long as it was and still maintain that balance. Because I feel like 2, and of course I haven't finished 3 yet, but I looked up like where I was at, and I'm halfway through at like 3 hours or something. And then Village, they weren't that long of games, really, and it worked. I think it's kind of miraculous that Resident Evil 4 was able to be like a 14 or 15 hour game, and it never got stale.
100%. I already mentioned Twist and Turns and first big AAA game of the year. Already talked about those. So my last two, this one I'll just mention. Dude, games coming out in winter is awesome. We need more big releases like at the beginning of the year, like in January. Like January. Dude, like January is the perfect time to release a video game, in my opinion.
Because we're all inside.
We're all inside. We're all depressed. We have nothing to do because we played all the games from the holiday where they released like 50 games at the same time.
Yeah.
If you want your game to stand out and sell well, you release in January. Look at Mugenics.
Dang. Yeah.
A million copies. Now, that also has the benefit of being like a spiritual sequel to like Binding of Isaac or whatever. But I'll be honest, Mugenics didn't work for me, but separate topic. Then the last one of my 10 reasons to be hyped for RE Requiem. Jake, is RE Requiem a game of the year contender? Legit contender?
I mean, comes from a storied franchise. The team that made the remakes that's making these games right now is on a hot streak. You have a beloved character from the franchise returning. We're back to a beloved location in Raccoon City. I mean, it just kind of seems like the stars are aligning for this to be a smash hit. So, obviously, we can't be definitive. The game's not even out yet. But I think, yeah, things are falling into place for this to be very well received. And I don't think that Capcom has done anything. I haven't seen any red flags in anything that I've looked at from it that would indicate that this is going to flop. I think it's going to be a smash hit.
Jake, let me give you the list of nominees of the Game Awards. Guaranteed. Here's the list.
For this year, for 2026.
For 2026. Forza.
Ooh.
Fable.
Ooh.
Grand Theft Auto 6.
Yeah.
Resident Evil Requiem.
Yeah.
Control Resident.
I think I would agree with...
Which one do you not agree with?
I guess the two that I'm a little shakier for would be Control Resident and Fable. If Fable sticks the landing from the developer direct, then yes. But dude, that game looks crazy ambitious, and I really want that to be everything that it looked like it could be from the trailer.
Let me throw.
I think
No, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So that's what I want to happen there, and then same with Control Resident. I really want that to be everything that I loved about Control and everything that I'm seeing in the trailer, but I just don't know.
I forgot to add one. Wolverine will be on there for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And the crazy thing is that two other ones could totally be on there. I think they're way less likely to be on there, but Crimson Desert and 007 First Light, they could make it, dude. Like, they really could. That's what's crazy.
They really could. I also agree with you that that's like runner-up category.
Yeah.
For now.
Yeah.
Right? Dude, I think you're right about Forza.
Dude,
Forza Horizon 5 was crazy well received, and 6 looks like exactly what people want for a sequel.
And let's not forget about Saros. That's not going to be a slouch either. So
it definitely won't be a slouch. I would probably put it in the runner-up category, and this is entirely based on what super fans of Returnal on our Discord have said, where they have mentioned some concerns, but I don't know. But Returnal was nominated for... Was it nominated for Game of the Year?
I don't know. Was it like 2021? 2022?
2021. I'm going to look this up.
Did it come out the same year as Ghost of Tsushima? It did, I think.
Yeah.
So, but Jake, just to be clear, what you're saying is Resident Evil Requiem is a lock for a Game of the Year nominee. Most likely. Not to win, just on the list. Nomination.
Right. I would say based on the list that we have right now of major game releases, yes. Obviously, and I know that you're not asking for me to like commit my heart and soul to this.
I'm just joking.
Obviously, there's plenty of year left, and there's going to be sleeper hits that nobody was really anticipating. But based on the information we have right now from major releases, yeah, I would say it's a lock for a Game of the Year nomination.
Very high probability. Yeah, I think I agree with you. Control Resident could fall off that, but that team usually delivers, so that makes me think. And people seem to love that universe, so
yeah, they really do.
Crimson Desert, to me, we've talked about this a ton, but dude, I'm just gonna say it again. I mean, I just don't have.
Just say it, man.
I don't have words anymore, dude. They've shown so much stuff, that looks so good visually, at least. I mean, how could there not be at least a couple elements of this game that are not really great? But I mean, I still could be wrong. But like, dude, if they even pull off like 80% of what they're trying to do, like, yeah, this will be. I mean, maybe it won't be a game of the year, but it will sell like gangbusters because it'll be just like this open world, like fun fest carnival, which is what people
Dude,
like.
looking at that game, I feel bags forming under my eyes. And maybe I'm just too old, but I look at that and I'm like, dude, if I got this and I was an undergrad at college, I'd be up till 3 a.m.
Yeah,
every
yeah.
single night
Oh
playing this
yeah.
game and sleeping through my 8 a.m. Bio 101 class.
So here's this other crazy thing that they revealed. So they revealed like the whole housing, farming, ridiculous mechanic, and on top of that, apparently it's not an RPG like upgrade your guy like through the menus. Like it's skill based. Like as you do stuff, like you level up stuff. So it has this
Yeah.
like sort of like organic leveling system, which I think is like that's perfect. Like I don't want to deal with the RPG mechanics. Like I can just use my sword and like level that up. Anyway, Crimson
Yeah.
Desert. Sorry, Resident Evil Requiem. There's my 10 reasons. Jake, you've been playing Resident Evil 3. We were supposed to kind of do an episode, but life got too busy and I couldn't play like any of it, although I do have it installed on my Xbox. Give us your like 5-minute breakdown of Resident Evil 3.
I think Resident Evil 3 is a really good time. I mean, and again, I'm playing the remake. So I think if you like 2 or 4 or Village, it feels like that to play. It feels great to play. I think Jill is a fantastic character. Carlos has definitely grown on me. It's a game really for people who love Resident Evil 2 because it is so intertwined with that story specifically. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of great action. And I don't know, like I think it's a super easy game to recommend. I actually find that Resident Evil 3 out of all the Resident Evil games that I have played is probably the least scary or gross, to be honest.
Interesting.
Obviously Nemesis is scary and gross and the zombies are gross, but I don't know. I found it to be much more palatable for whatever reason. It's good. It's a good game. I definitely recommend it. I like Jill quite a lot. I think she's a great character.
So I know just secondarily that Resident Evil 3 gets a lot of hate for some reason, and I think it's actually from like the hardcore RE fans, because everything I've seen from people who are just like pop it open without the expectations are like, this is fun, and that's like, I had a blast playing it. But the Resident Evil sickos are like, this sucks.
So I actually streamed a little bit of Resident Evil 3 and I had some of this explained to me because I was like, I never hear people talk about this game. Why don't people talk about Resident Evil 3? And somebody was explaining, I actually think it was Matt from the Hard Times or from the Hard Drive, was explaining that the Resident Evil 3 remake does remove some portions of content like levels and story, I think, from the original one. So diehard RE fans are mad about that. I do think that, like, I don't know, so far it seems to be less twist and turn based, maybe. Like in terms of its story, like the story is like pretty straightforward. Again, I've only gone through like half of it. If you played Resident Evil 3, just know that I'm in the hospital section right now. Yeah, I just wonder if for diehard Resident Evil fans, it's like just good, not great. Like
Yeah.
good characters, good stuff that happens,
Right.
but it's not blowing your mind. It's no RE4.
Well, what can
No
be?
game is. What
No,
can
yeah,
be. Yeah,
yeah.
that's a good point. Right.
I mean, Mario maybe, but
Maybe, yeah.
well, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, this was just a little episode to kind of get excited for the first big AAA game of the year. Jake and I are new Resident Evil fans. Let us know in the Discord, what's your favorite Resident Evil game? Why? We both haven't played like Code Veronica or some of like the ancillary Resident Evil games. So like, hey, if you can convince us to play it, or you let us know. And patreon.com/PreorderCast. Let us know if you want us to play like Code Veronica, or what are the other weird, there's other weird ones, Jake. I feel like Resident Evil.
What? You said Veronica. You said Code Zero.
We have Code Zero. We haven't played those. We haven't played Biohazard. Jake, you
That
know what
one
we should
might be
do?
too
Should
scary,
we
dude.
stream Biohazard?
Dude, I watched a stream of that for 5 minutes, and I saw this one scene, and I was like, "Nah, dude."
You're out.
Honestly,
You're
the
out.
dollhouse in RE Village was like my max capacity for
Okay.
scary,
Yeah.
and so I don't know if I want to do like cannibalism.
Revelations 2, Resident Evil 6.
Dude, do people talk about Resident Evil 5 or 6? Those are probably the two that I've
Wait.
heard least about.
Resident Evil The Umbrella Chronicles, The Dark Side Chronicles, Dead Aim, Zero, Mercenaries 3D, Resistance, Reverse, Operation Raccoon City. My goodness. Wait, there's even more. Resident Evil Gaiden, Survivor, Survivor 2 Code Veronica, Umbrella Corps. Holy crap. This is an insane franchise. All right. I'm too deep. I got to get out.
Yeah, that's too many.
That's way too many, guys. Sorry. We'll just play the good ones. Tell us what the good ones are. Ladies and gentlemen, that's been our episode talking Resident Evil Requiem. We will have our first like part 1 episode. Hopefully the week, like a little bit delayed, but just like a few days after the release for Requiem. So tune into that. That's going to be coming soon. I'm going to be playing that like as much as I can, like as soon as it comes out. So I'll definitely be setting aside a time for that. And yeah, thank you so much for listening. Please, if you want to support us, do so. Patreon.com/PreaderCast. You can sign up for a deluxe edition where you get extended editions of our regular episodes plus special topics episodes every month. You can also sign up for Jake's Indie Impressions, where he's doing weekly content on all the indie games that are coming out all the time, talking about them, posting about them, doing individual episodes on those. You can join our Discord. Link to that is in the description. Great community talking about video games, art, movies, music, sports, weightlifting. Awesome community that's growing every day. Please follow us on Blue Sky. And most importantly, if you haven't and you listen to the show for a long time or even just like it, leave us a review. That really helps people find the show and helps us continue to grow. Or leave us a thumbs up on YouTube. If you're listening to this on your podcast platform and you want to see our beautiful faces, you can do that on YouTube. Just go to youtube.com, type in Pre-Order Podcast, and we'll pop up. Thanks so much for listening, and have a great night.